Hi, welcome. This is Mike McMillan, and we are going to do some green screen work today. And my goal is to make you proud of the green screen work that you do so that you can sit back after you're finished and say, you know what, I nailed it. And that's what I want for you here today. So let's get started right now. Okay, well, to do any green screen work, of course, we need a green screen. We need proper lighting and video editing software. And we'll look at each of these. Now, first, to show you my green screen, this is not very high-tech, but it works okay for me. I bought this at a fabric store for about $15. It's very stretchy, and there are no wrinkles, because what I do is I have stapled this onto the wall with my staple gun. I stretch it out, staple it, and it's perfectly flat. And there you can see what I've done. Now, you probably don't want to do this at your own home, and I understand that, that you don't want holes and staples in your wall. So some other things you can do is, well, you can buy just the green screen material on Amazon if you have a way that you want to put it up on the wall, you know, kind of like I did. So that's available. It's pretty inexpensive. Another thing you can do is to buy a kit like this, and you get a piece of green screen. This is 10 by 12 feet. It's an actual Amazon product. And then you get these poles that you can set up quickly, and you hang the green screen from it. And, you know, that's something that a lot of people do. A lot of people use a rig like this to set up their green screens. Okay. Another thing you can do, these are kind of neat. They're fabric with sort of a metal-like ring around the outside, and they're 5 by 6.5 feet, and one side is green and one side is blue, and they're only about $39. The nice thing is that you can give these a twist, and they fold down into a little circle that takes up next to no space, so you can keep it anywhere, and then you just untwist it, and in 5 seconds you've got your green screen back up. As long as you're not doing like a karate video where you're jumping and punching and, you know, stuff like that, these can work well. I do just talking head videos where I stand up, and this would work great for me. I don't have one of these, but a lot of people use these too. Okay, now something else is, here is a blue screen. And some people use, there's a box light on one side. I'm using 2 box lights as I shoot this video today, but that's my blue screen. Sometimes I use that, and I'm going to use it today in an example as well as a green screen. Now, as far as the lighting, this is one of my box lights right here. And there's Velcro around the outside, and you can Velcro this. There's a white diffusion sheet that you can put on the front of this, and it just takes some of the harshness out so you don't get such a bright light in one spot. It spreads it out a little bit. And then right here, you can see inside, the particular lights that I use have 5 bulbs inside. You can get these kind of lights that only have 1 or 2 or 3 lights. You know, they have different kinds, a lot of different kinds. Even though my lights hold 5 bulbs, today I'm only shooting this video putting 1 bulb in each of my box lights. Okay, that's enough light for me. These are called CFL bulbs. That's compact fluorescent light bulbs, and this is what mine looks like. Okay, and if we zoom in on this up close, you can see that these are 45 watt bulbs. They're each 45 watt bulbs. But if I use all the bulbs, they're independent. You can turn them on one at a time on the back using these switches. You can get these on Amazon. Here's one that only comes with 1 bulb in each of the lights. You can get them that have sockets that hold 2 or 3 or maybe 4 and 5, I don't know. I mean, mine's 5, but it's 5 or 6 years old. I don't know if they still sell those. But now, I'm also using 2 LED lights today. You need to have at least 3 lights to do a green screen work. 3 might get you by, 4 would be better, and they could all be box lights, softbox lights, like I just showed you. I'm going to show you my LED lights today, and I'll explain to you why I use these. There's some advantages to them, and I'll explain that. Here is one of my LED units, and I've got it turned down very low. It's like at 5 or 10%. One thing I want to point out is they actually have white lights and yellow lights in them. And you can turn the white light on, and then you can add some yellow light to it, or just use the yellow light. The yellow light sort of softens things up a little bit. It's not quite as harsh as the white. You can play with it. A lot of times what I'm doing today is I've got my white lights turned up to about, I would say about 25%. That's all. And then I've got my yellow lights turned up to maybe 5, 6, 7% just to soften it up a little bit. Now let's talk about the lighting arrangement. I'm not a graphic artist, but this is how I set my lights up. And the box lights are on both sides of me. That's not me, but I found that head to use, so I put that in there. And if you look at this, the way I set this up, my box lights, from the center of the box light to the green screen is about 4 feet, okay? And then the distance from the front of the box light to right behind where I stand on my green screen, that's about 5 feet. Now, you're going to have to play with these distances. Your screen is different, your room is different, your lighting is different, you know, but just to give you an idea. But that's about 5 feet. Now, the distance from where I'm at, from the back of my head to the green screen, is about 7 feet, the way I'm shooting this today. You need to be, I'll just tell you, you can't be closer than 3 or 4 feet to your green screen because you'll have some problems, and I'll show you those in just a second. If you can get out 5 feet, 6, 7, 8, that should work okay for you. Okay? Now, the other thing is I'm standing about 8 feet from my camera, and of course, if you're using a DSLR camera, you've got a lot more adjustments and you can focus in and out and do all kinds of things. So, you know, this could be highly variable. You could be back 15 feet, 10 feet, 3 feet, you know, it just depends on your camera, but that's what I'm doing. And then the distance from my body, my head, my body, to the LED lights I use is about 7 feet right there, and you can see that. Okay, so what I've done is I shot 2 video clips. They're only 5 or 10 seconds, just to illustrate some things here. I'm going to first, I'm going to use a thing called Screenflow, which I use to edit most of my videos, not all of them, but Screenflow only works on Macs, and I've got a Mac, so I use this. So what I have here in this first clip, this is me talking in front of my green screen, okay? And I'll blow this up, make it a little bit bigger. But basically, you can see there are a couple things going on that we don't like. And one is, this is not big enough to cover my 1280 by 720 YouTube size screen, so I'm going to stretch it out, make it a little bit bigger. And then the second is, you can see some of my white or beige colored walls where my green screen didn't cover all the way around here, and I want to eliminate that. So what I do on my Mac in Screenflow, and you can do this in any software, but you need to crop this. I would have to crop this, and here I push Control and I grab the handles and I can squeeze this down, and that crops out the walls where there wasn't a green screen. I can stretch this out, make myself bigger. We don't want too much of Mike in there, but yeah. So it looks like this. And now when this plays, that's my green screen video. Okay? Now, a couple things going on. Here's the green screen. I need to get the green out from behind me. So what I do is I highlight the clip, and I come up, this is a video editing tab up here, and there are things I can do. We're not going to play with any of that stuff, but under video filters, I'm going to click on this plus sign, and the top one, it says chroma key, and I'll double click on that and see what that did. This chroma key, the chroma effect, took all the green out from behind me. Now I'm going to blow this up so we can see this a little bit bigger, and hopefully this will show up. But what's going on, and this is very, very typical of doing green screen work, especially if you have white hair, gray hair, very blonde hair, what you can have happening is you get some spillover or flashback. And let me turn the chroma off. And what that means is light that hits your green screen bounces off the screen, it comes back to behind your hair, behind your clothing, and you get some what they call spillover. Okay, and that creates a little bit of a green halo back behind my hair and everything. So to try to eliminate as much of that as possible, we can come in here, and if I click on this color picker, what I can do is move this around, and I'm trying to find the same green color that my screen had, because I'm going to tell it what color green I want it to take out. So I want to try to find that same green color. And when I do that, I'm not going to play with this all day, but you know, maybe something like this. This is not going to be perfect, but something okay like that. Okay. Now underneath here, let's play with the white. I don't know how well this shows up, but my sleeves on my sweatshirt are fuzzy looking. They're not crisp. And there's a white clip thing here, and you can play with this, and they're kind of fuzzy. And if I move this back, now I've made this very crisp and clean around my sweatshirt. Okay? And actually, and if I move this back, see, I have fuzzies in my hair, not that many, but to get some of those fuzzies out too, if I move this over, that will get that fuzziness out of my hair, which I would like to get out. So, you know, something like that. Move it over a little bit more. And I can play with these and see what I can do. And this is not going to be perfect, but it's going to be workable for us. So I'll end up with something that looks like this. Okay? Let me shrink this down a little bit now. And now when I play this, you can see that I've taken most of that green out. This is not perfect. I see some problem areas in there. And like I said, I can play with this more and try to get it a little bit better. But let's assume that that's good enough for what we're doing. We'll try that. That's not perfect, but we're going to go with it. Okay? So now what I can do, let me close this down, and I have a media library section where I've got some things. Now, for example, I have a window here, and I'm going to drag this. This has to go underneath your green screen clip. And when I put that underneath there, like this, now it looks like I'm standing in front of that window talking. That doesn't look too bad. Okay, but this window scene behind me is too small to cover the area, so I'm going to drag it out and make it bigger. And now when I play this, okay, it looks like I'm standing in front of that window. Okay, just like that. All right? Now, you can see I made one serious mistake here, and I didn't think about it, but I had an MSU, Michigan State sweatshirt on, which is green, and I'm doing a green screen effect. That's why this is all doing funky things down there. So, yeah, don't wear green when you're doing green screen work. But anyway, okay, so that's what that looks like. Okay? Now, let me take that out. I'll just, I've got these are just some boards, like blue grungy boards, and if I do that, you see we get the same type of thing. Again, this is a little too small. I'll drag it out so it covers the whole area there, just like that. And now when I play this, it looks like I'm standing in front of those boards. Okay? We could try one more. What else have I got? I've got, this is just a gray. It looks like a chalkboard or something, messy chalkboard. And I can put that down underneath there. Again, this is way too small, so I'll drag it up here. I'll make it bigger so it covers the whole area. And now when I play this, it looks like I'm standing. Let me get it centered a little better. Looks like I'm standing in front of that board. Okay? So, now, here's a trick that I'd like to show you. Over here, this is the same. Everything is exactly the same. Well, I changed my sweatshirt, I guess. Sorry about that. Here I shot in front of a blue screen, and the reason is, if you have, I think I mentioned this, if you have blonde hair, gray hair, white hair, green screen work can be a problem because you get flashback. You get, light hits the green screen, it bounces back against the back of your hair, the back of your shirt, clothing, whatever, and you can get that green halo going on, which is not something that we want. So since I have kind of brown hair, but it's turning gray, so since I have that flashback, that spillover is kind of a problem when I do green screen work. So with a blue screen, if you have very light hair, You could try using a blue screen because that doesn't reflect as much light as the green does, which means you'll have less flashback, less spillover, and you won't get that halo effect around things. So when this plays, now also, I'll tell you, I live in Michigan. The air is very dry. It's the middle of the winter. The humidity in the house is like at 18%. I like it to be up at 35 or so, but my hair is very frizzy and staticky and everything, so we'll take care of that. But again, what I'll do is I will highlight this, and I'll come up to my video button. I'll click on the video filters. I'll double click on the chroma key, and see, it took most of that out, didn't it? And again, I can play with these. I can get that color picker out, and I can, you know, that's not good, that's not good, that's not good. I can try to find the best color. That's not too bad right there. Again, this white clip is not going to do too much, but see where my hair was frizzy? If I move this over, it takes that frizz out of there. The tolerance, I can move that down. That sharpens it up a little bit. Like I say, I don't know technically what the angle does, but you can play with it. So I end up with this. Okay. And when I let this play, that's what it looks like. Now down here, see, I have a globe on my desk that's off to the side here. And again, so what I would do is I'd click on this. Whoops, let me come down here. I'd click on this clip. Again, I'd hit Control, drag this in, and then I can crop this so that it's just me, so that doesn't show up. And then when I play this, it looks like this. Okay, and again, I can try the same filters. I can put this green window background behind me, and now it looks like I'm standing in front of this window. Okay, so that's what that could look like. I've got this blue board thing. I don't know what that is, but again, I can let this play, and it looks like I'm standing in front of that board right there. Okay. And I had one other. What was the other one? Oh, here it is. I could drag this gray one underneath here, and again, when that comes in, I can let this play. Let's see if I can get the whole thing in there. Yeah, and I can move myself over. So I'm more in the middle, and it looks like I'm standing in front of that gray background. Okay? So that's how this could work. There we go. Oops. Okay. That's how this can work. And you get something that's pretty good. This is, I would say, 90% good. It's not 100% good, but it's the best I can do with my lighting situation and using Screenflow, and this doesn't come out too bad.